interact with the Office of the Attorney General, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the anti-graft entities that we have, KRA, and perhaps in certain instances some of the key public enterprises. Not all, but maybe some, maybe of special interest, the ones that perhaps I would call are extremely pivotal in the economy. These could be important. I think the other people you may want to talk to is the Council of Governors. This is for the devolved units, because we are a devolved system, and the issue of the governors and how county governments are run and managed, that will be a function constitutionally that you would need to have a conversation with the governors, and not necessarily the national government. In some extent, yes, but I think it would be a big omission if we came up with recommendations or suggestions and we did not get the input of the county governments, because then they'll say we are imposing issues on them. So I don't know whether you had factored that into your scoping. I think it would also be good for us to hear from you where you would see this going, and perhaps if it will have implications on our conversations on a new program, so that everybody is aligned so that we do something, but also it's good for people to know what is the end game. What do we want to achieve? You know, it's absolutely essential. In order to get a proper buy-in, we have to carry people along. There could be consequential pieces of legislation that will then require amendments as a result of this exercise. And that is why it's important that we don't have just sight of the process, but we have sight of the end game. What is the objective?
The objective of this, and which we agree, is to have a second set of eyes that looks at how, as a country, we've been operating, whether it is the revenue governance framework, expenditures, including debt management and other PFM areas. And it is timely, sir, because as you are aware, we are beginning actually this week, towards the end of the week, there will be another mission to take stock of the current program and to reflect on the future program. And therefore, as the Res Rep has observed, we think this will enable us to identify areas which may be weak, that we can begin addressing into the future. The other important exercise that is ongoing, as you are aware, we were grey listed through the FATF process. We've made very good progress in that respect. We had about 19 areas that were non-compliant. The last mutual evaluation exercise, a number of those areas have progressed either to partial compliance or even to full compliance. A good example would be the policy framework for crypto assets that was noted to be lacking and therefore exposing the country. We made good progress, but there are still some areas that are lagging behind, and I know one of the focus areas would also be around matters AML and how they interface with public finance or fiscal governance issues. So it is relevant. We at the Treasury are looking forward to engaging on both the governance diagnostics, and we are also ready for the discussion, to commence discussion on what the future program is likely to be. So we welcome this exercise.
So to let you know, the governance mission is a technical mission. So it is separate from the program, and we are guided by the overarching IMF's 2018 framework on enhanced engagement on governance. So this is the setting that we'll be using for the governance mission that we've been using with many countries over the last few years. And it's really designed to help you provide a holistic approach to addressing governance, weaknesses and corruption vulnerabilities that you may have in your state functions, and then our focus is on macroeconomic critical areas. So it's not all of government, it's the macroeconomic critical areas that we'll be focusing on. So we'll be analyzing and we'll be recommending actions for addressing these corruption vulnerabilities and other governance issues that we might see that would impact your macroeconomic stability. And so we'll also be examining the severity of corruption vulnerabilities across 6 core state functions. And let me give you those core functions. So you have fiscal governance, and this is a huge one because this has several parts. You have expenditure policy, you have public financial management, tax policy, and revenue administration, which is both tax and customs. Then we'll be looking at the central bank governance and operations, the fiscal sector oversight, market regulation, rule of law, and anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. They all go together. But the parameters will be defined by Kenya's specific situation. So not every governance mission is the same because it depends on how your government is set up and also the areas that we see that we'll start looking at and at how it will be designed over not just the scoping mission, but over the time of the entire governance diagnostic. Just so you know, we'll be seeking input from multiple sources, so I really appreciate you providing about the Council of Governance, and especially we do know about the devolved system, and I think this is a critical area that we'll make sure that we're looking into to make sure we understand the full scope and make sure we have their input as well. We'll be meeting with multiple government offices, as well as private sector, civil society, and international partners, so our other development partners. I also, to let you know, because we've done a lot of capacity development in a lot of the areas, we will be using and looking at things that have already been done on the ground, so we're not starting from zero. And then we actually have the team already pretty much assembled. It's a pretty large team. I think I have 11 so far on the team, because you're a big country. And it's important that we have good technical people, and they'll be working starting now until the governance mission as well, working from their desk, getting information. We'll be requesting information through your team. By the end of this month, I expect to have the first set of requests of information and data that we'll be requesting from the different offices. And then they'll be on the scoping mission, on the diagnostic mission, which will plan the dates with the PS, but sometime in June will come for 2 weeks for the full diagnostic mission. But there will be a lot of pre-work before that, so it's not just the 2 weeks. At the end of the mission, we will be providing some type of draft of what the findings are and our recommendations. And the recommendations will be such that they'll be prioritized. They won't be 250 recommendations because no government can handle that. They'll be prioritized by the state function, and they'll be sequenced over the medium term to help you look at where, how you can put together a plan that would work for the government. Yeah. So that's what good governance is about, and I want to thank you.
Who is the focal point, and a good number of the people here, some of them will be.
I just want to say thank you again, and from the big picture,